A very warm welcome to all my dear children. This is Nilofer ma'am, and today I'm going to introduce to you the second lesson of history, Historiography, Indian Tradition, Part 1. Introduction. We learned about the Western tradition of historiography in the last lesson. In this lesson, we will know about the tradition of Indian historiography. Now, historiography is divided into three major periods: ancient period, medieval period, and modern period. Now, historiography in the ancient period. Now, in the ancient period in India, memories of great deeds of ancestors and mythological lore, also memories of social traditions, transitions were preserved with the help of oral recitals. Now, lore means all the facts and traditions about a particular subject, and it was oral recital means verbally recited. The inscriptions on the Harappan seals and other artifacts confirm that Indians had mastered the art of writing as early as the 3rd millennium BCE, or perhaps before that. However, the Harappan script is not yet successfully deciphered. Deciphered means decoded to simple language. The earliest known written documents of historical nature found in India are in the form of inscriptions. They are dated to the 3rd century BCE, that is, Emperor Ashok Maurya's times. His edicts are inscribed on natural rocks and stone pillars. Now, from the 1st century CE, that is Common Era, inscriptions begin to occur on coins, metal images, and sculptures, and also on copper plates. They provide important historical information. So, all these coins, copper plates, images, sculptures, they provide us important historical information. We get to know about the dates of various kings, dynastic genealogies, territorial extent, and administration of various empires and kingdoms, and also important political events, social organization, climate, famines, etc. of the respective times. Now, what do you mean by famines? Shortage of food. Sohagora copper plate. Now, the copper plate was found at Sohagora district, Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. It is supposed to be from the Mauryan period. Means this was found, okay, it was made maybe in the Mauryan period. The inscription on it is in Brahmi script. The symbols known as tree in railing and mountain at the beginning of the inscription also occurs on the punch marked coins. Means these inscriptions are also found on the punch marked coins. Another symbol which looks like a structure erected on four pillars is supposed to be indicative of a granary. Means you can see a structure here with four pillars. This was supposed to be the granary. Granary means a place where grains are stored. The inscription records a royal order that the grains stored in the granary should be distributed carefully. So this seal means that this was a royal order that the grain should be distributed carefully among the needy people. It is supposed to be suggestive of precautions taken in the times of a famine. Now, the ancient Indian literature, including the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, Puranas, Jain and Buddhist texts, historical accounts of Indian authors, and also travelogues by foreign travelers are important sources of history. So, all these sources are very important to know about our past. Writing or biographies of kings and dynastic histories mark an important step in the Indian historiography. Harsha Charita, written in the 7th century Common Era by Bana Bhatta, is King Harsha's biography. It portrays a realistic picture of the social, economic, political, religious, and cultural life during the king's times. Means it gives us complete information about what actually the life of people was in that time. Now we have historiography in the medieval period. Now, the style of writing Rajtarangini, the history of Kashmir, by Kalhana in the 12th century CE is quite close to the concept of modern historiography. Means it is quite close to the system of writing, okay, which is in modern historiography. Kalhana himself says that he wrote this text after critically examining various sources like inscriptions, coins, remains of ancient monuments, dynastic records, and local traditions. Means he had critically analyzed all these things and then he has written the history of Kashmir. Now, in the medieval India, the historians in the courts of Muslim rulers were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. Among them, Ziauddin Barani holds an important place. Means Ziauddin Barani is an important writer from that era. In Tariq-i-Firoz Shahi, a book written by him, he has stated the purpose of historiography. So what is the purpose of historiography? It is being penned down by him in Tariq-i-Firoz Shahi. According to him, the historian's duty is not limited only to the recording of the ruler's valor and policies of welfare, but he should also write about the ruler's failings and incorrect policies. Means he should not be writing only about the praises, in praise of the ruler. He should also write about the failures and incorrect policies of the king. Barani further says that a historian should also take into consideration the impact of the teachings of the wise, the learned, and the saints on the cultural life of people. Thus, Barani expanded the scope of historiography. For the historians in the Mughal courts, praising the emperors and exhibition of loyalty became more important. The custom of adding suitable poetic quotes and beautiful pictures was also introduced. Now, Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, wrote an autobiography. Means he wrote about himself, entitled Tuzuk-i-Babri. It contains the description of the battles fought by him. So what is written in Tuzuk-i-Babri? All the description of the battles fought by him. Babur also recorded his minute observations, means all his observations of various regions and cities travelled by him, including the local economy, customs, and the flora. So he wrote about various things like the economy, local economy, customs, and the flora. Flora means the plants around us. Now, next we have Abul Fazl. He wrote Akbarnama, is a very important form, the viewpoint of critical historiography. His method of collecting authentic historical documents, means very real, okay, documents, and their scrutiny is looked upon as devoid of bias and hence realistic. It had no partiality. Now, Bakhar is an important type of historical document of medieval times, containing eulogies of the heroes and stories of historic events, battles, lives of great men. Now, what is actually eulogy? It is a speech that praises someone or something highly, especially a tribute to someone who has just died. Now, Marathi Bakhars are of various types. Sabhasad Bakhar was written by Krishnaji Anant Sabhasad during the reign of Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj. It is an important Bakhar for getting information about the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Means we come to know a lot of things about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj from this Bakhar. Now, Bhausahebanchi Bakhar describes the Battle of Panipat. Another Bakhar entitled Panipatchi Bakhar is also about the same event. Holkaranchi Kaifiyat provides information about the Holkars and their contribution to the Maratha rule. Bakhars can be divided into various types such as biographies of kings, dynastic history, descriptions of events, history of a sect, autobiographies regarding grievance based on mythologies, and state administration by a king. Now, children, this was the first part of our lesson, and based on this, I am giving you an assignment. Now, write short notes on Sohagaura copper plate, important sources of history. Next question. Name the books written by Kalhana, Ziauddin Barani, Babar, Abul Fazl, Krishnaji Anant Sabhasad.